UFC 297 just came to a close last night, and today, guys, I'm going to go through every fight again and give my thoughts on how the fight went, how happy I was, how surprised I was by some of the results. We're going to get into every fight with timestamps, by the way, if you'd like to skip to any particular part of the video. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. Let's start off with the card with Jimmy Flick versus Malcolm Gordon. Now, I really did think Malcolm Gordon was going to win this fight, but man, like, he just proved why he's so inconsistent, man. The dude was looking so good. Jimmy Flick was looking like himself, not like kind of like the former shell that he once was. And you know what? I was getting kind of worried because while Malcolm Gordon was beating him, I was like, oh, watch out for that armbar. Watch out for that triangle. Oh my God, he's in a triangle, you know, but he kept getting out. And then eventually he did end up falling into one in the second round. The dude was just so unbelievably careless. He could have walked away with an easy win here, but it was quite disappointing to see. But at the same time, like, I didn't really have my, like, as if you guys follow the channel, you would know that I'm, like, really invested on, like, being happy for guys, right? I have a lot of favorite fighters, right? But for this one in particular, I honestly didn't really care. So, I mean, it's good for Jimmy Flick to win, but it's crazy that Malcolm Gordon lost that fight. Then we have Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Zombie Girl Priscila Cachoeira. Now, I have been seeing a lot of memes after this fight because Zombie Girl came out, like, so tough, right? And you know what? It puts me off a little bit when you have something so iconic from another fighter. For example, her walkout song, she was coming into it like the Koreans all be like, in your head, you know, it was ridiculous. And she got in the cage and she's like, you know, she was doing this, she was being all tough. And then what were the strikes? Like 300-4. That was one of the craziest beatdowns I've ever seen for Jasmine Jasudavicius, or in a fight. Jasmine Jasudavicius had a phenomenal performance, there. She is a problem in that division. It's just she needs to work on that striking defense because I really do think she's better than the majority of the fighters in the division. She is so underrated. She's fantastic. And that fight should have been stopped multiple times, to be honest with you. I had a bet of this fight going over 1.5 rounds. And if you're interested to see my bets, they'll be coming out Tuesday, I believe. But I bet on this fight to go over 1.5 rounds, and I was sweating the whole time. To be fair, they should have stopped the fight on multiple occasions, but they didn't. So I ended up winning my bet, and it's good to see Jasmine Jasudavicius win. And honestly, I didn't mind seeing Priscila Cachoeira take that beating. Moving on to the next fight, we have Sam Patterson versus Yohan Lainesse. Now, I don't really have too much to say about this because nothing really happened until the submission came. Sam Patterson got the win, and it was pretty cool to see. Moving on to the next fight, though, we have Gillian Robertson versus Polyana Viana. Now, what a domination. I picked Polyana Viana to win this fight. I thought she would offer a little bit of danger to Gillian Robertson's, like, horrible stand-up maybe, and she was swinging sometimes, but it just didn't work. Gillian Robertson got the effortless takedowns, effortless transitions. To be honest with you, I'm quite shocked that she wasn't able to find a submission. It was a little bit ridiculous. I mean, like, she ended up getting the TKO, but it's still, like, you should have beaten that Polyana Viana way quicker than the Polyana Viana that ended up showing up. So, yeah, you know what? With Polyana Viana now, I believe she's 13-7 now. I'm on the internet with this one. Everybody talking about how she needs to quit worrying about cosplaying and just start worrying about training. Well, we know that's what Gillian Robertson's at least doing. I'm a little bit confused on Gillian Robertson, though, because I keep saying to myself that this girl's getting better. And then she'll have the piss-poor performance like she did in their last fight. And then she'll come back and win again. So I guess she's just one of those inconsistent fighters. I keep thinking she's a little bit better than she is for some reason. Then we had an amazing fight between Roman Tavares and Serhiy. This was a great fight. Honestly, like, when this fight ended, I thought it could have gone either way, but man, was this an animal dog fight. Like, I loved watching it. It was arguably, I think I'm taking a look at the rest of the card right now. I would say I liked it the best. The only other contender is Movsar Evloev versus Arnold Allen, but man, was that a great fight. Great scrap from both guys. I cannot wait to watch both of them fight again. Moving on, though, to Sean Woodson versus Charles Jourdain. This one disappointed me a little bit because I really wanted Charles Jourdain to win the fight, and then Sean Woodson being built like Waluigi, he was just able to use his complete boxing from the outside and just completely, like, not 100% shut down Charles Jourdain's game, but he wasn't able to let Charles Jourdain get anything off. And to be honest with you, I don't take anything away from Charles Jourdain in this because he was so undersized in this fight. I'm kind of wondering, like, is Sean Woodson, is it just because he's lanky that it's crazy the size difference? Because I was thinking, like, can Charles Jourdain go down a weight class, or is Sean Woodson just like that awkwardly big but still at the same weight type of thing? You know what I mean? But little bit of a boring performance, but you know what? Good win by him. Then here's the interesting one, guys. We have Garrett Armfield versus Brad Katona. I feel like I'm the only one who really thought Brad Katona won that. It was a close fight, don't get me wrong, but that fight ended and I was like, yeah, Brad Katona got that. Brad Katona got that. He did a little bit more. But then the strikes started showing up, and I was like, oh, really? Garrett Armfield did land that many strikes? Then I saw people online talking about Garrett Armfield winning that fight, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll need to rewatch it sometime. But I honestly thought Brad Katona won regardless. This was a decently high-level fight. I really, really enjoyed the striking exchanges, the movement from both guys. It was, honestly, a pleasure to see. But speaking of a pleasure to watch, we have Movsar Evloev versus Arnold Allen. I was really pulling for Arnold Allen here because I don't know, man. I just really love watching him fight. But I do think that he kind of got a situation robbed from him a little bit with those knees because those knees were completely legal. I don't know what Mark Goddard was doing over there, but regardless, besides that, I've learned something from both guys this time around. I've learned that Arnold Allen has some of the best willingness, takedown defense, scrambles to not accept the position on the ground because we never really see Arnold Allen fight a grappler, let alone a grappler to the level of Movsar Evloev. This dude, it's something to take into consideration if Arnold Allen ever fights a strong wrestler or jiu-jitsu practitioner, but Movsar Evloev, man, he proved, I'm completely convinced of him now. 100% convinced, and this just makes me think, like, how good is Diego Lopez, honestly, because he really, really gave Movsar Evloev some trouble, and more trouble than Arnold Allen, maybe, because while it was a dogfight, Movsar Evloev never looked like he was really in trouble, except for that one knee, right? Or the couple knees. But it was a crazy fight. I loved watching both those. It's one of those performances where I'm like, it's a shame that one person has to lose this. But Movsar Evloev did enough to win. I ended up placing a bet on him, and I thought it was going to be a super risky bet to do, but hey, I'm really glad that he got the job done. I feel bad for Arnold Allen, though, because I was really pulling for him. Moving on to the next fight, though, we have Chris Curtis versus Marc-Andre Barriol. To be honest with you, this one shocked me a little bit. I was kind of bouncing around back and forth on my pick here, and I ended up placing a bet for Marc-Andre Barriol because I was thinking about Chris Curtis's past couple performances. I was thinking about Marc-Andre Barriol, like, kind of sometimes throwing caution to the wind, but at the same time having a little bit of caution, like having that calculated chaos kind of style. And I thought he would get hyped up with the Canadian crowd and storm Chris Curtis. But something was wrong, man. Something was off because Marc-Andre Barriol did not fight like himself. But you know what? Maybe that's just Chris Curtis doing what Chris Curtis does because he ended up fighting exactly how Chris Curtis wants to have a fight. So I'm not sure if something was wrong with Marc-Andre Barriol, or I'm not sure if it was Chris Curtis being able to control the pace. I honestly don't know because typically you see Marc-Andre Barriol just walk forward, throwing shots, trying to kill you, use that cardio advantage, right? But Chris Curtis was able to just have a very, very nice, clean performance and get the win. And then we have the most hype I've been on the card. We have Neil Magny versus Mike Malott. I was going crazy, you guys, because Mike Malott, throughout the fight, Mike Malott was obviously winning the fight, but I was like thinking to myself, okay, he's not ready for the top contenders. There's absolutely no way. But then Mike Malott started getting gassed, started getting dragged into the deep waters of the third round. Then Neil Magny, guys, I love Neil Magny. I always joke on the channel that I'm Neil Magny's biggest fan. I was screaming. I was screaming when Neil Magny got the takedown. I was screaming when Neil Magny got on top. I was screaming when there was 30 seconds left and Neil Magny was pounding away. And I was like, come on, Magny. Come on, Magny. I was going nuts. I am so happy that Neil Magny got the win. I love watching him fight, man. I don't know why Neil Magny gets the hate that he does because he's been such a veteran in the game now. He's fought everybody. He's always so tough, and it's really nice after the resume that he's had to always see him get the win. But Mike Malott's probably going to bounce back. Mike Malott is, I don't want to say fraud checked, but he's not ready for the top 15 yet. But Neil Magny, man, I'm so hyped for his win, dude. Now, guys, I'm going to graze over this one, to be honest with you, because my brother and I were just making funny Snapchats during this fight because, like, neither of us really cared about this fight. I can't believe that this fight was for a belt. Raquel Pennington versus Mayra Bueno Silva. It was a little bit boring from when we were looking up, but I wasn't paying attention, so I'm not going to spend any time on it. But we have the main event now. That being Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis. I will say this. I thought Sean Strickland won that clearly. I thought it was a clear 3-2 decision. Regardless, it was a close fight. So can I say like it was a robbery? Because there were definitely rounds that were close, but I was pretty confident at the end of each round saying, okay, Sean won this round, Dricus won this round, but I was pulling for du Plessis here. I'm glad he got the job done, but I never really feel good about it, in my opinion, when I think the fight should have gone to the other opponent. So I'm not nearly as happy for Dricus du Plessis as I should have, but that's not Dricus' fault. Like, it was really cool to see all his people going crazy. But at the end of the day, like, the wrong guy won to me, man. But I know there's a lot of controversy online about it, so you know what? Maybe it's the place that they were fighting in. They would never totally do that, right? But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't feel good about that win. I thought Sean Strickland won it clearly personally, but I'd love to know what you guys think about it down below. For the next fight, though, Dricus du Plessis, Sean Strickland, I wonder if they're open for UFC 300. Plus, on top of that, one more thing that I wanted to say about the fight is I really do believe it was close because Sean Strickland ended up getting cut on his eye. He was unable to see through that. Yeah, he was getting hit with some shots, but I think that really, really changed things for him. So, honestly, with a fight being this close, I would like to see a rematch. I think it'd be a great UFC 300 fight if they could both heal up by then. April, I think they could. Let me know what you guys think down below about that. With that, main event puts an end to the video for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you're interested, I made a video not so long ago talking about why I feel bad for Bilal Muhammad when it comes to UFC fans. Check it out here if you're interested. Take care, guys.